All right, my Lincoln Scholars, it is getting to be that time of evening, and I did not want to forget my book to you two all tonight. So I'm starting a little bit early, and you can catch up with me as we go on. So, it's still daylight outside. I got to do a few shout outs. One to Dr. Holly, Dr. Michelle Holly from over at Steer It, who sent me a video today of her jump rope challenge. Now, she was a little late for our challenge, but she did do it. So congratulations, Dr. Holly. You're going to be on our team. You're going to be on a teacher's team. And I still think the teachers have won. That's what I believe. I believe we won. Okay? All right. So we may have some cars that go by. It was a beautiful, beautiful day outside today. I hope you all got outside and you got a little fresh air. Excuse me, and you were also able to go down to Polson and get those lunches. I don't think they're going to be there tomorrow, but check just in case. I know they'll be back on Friday to get some extra lunches for the weekend as well. I did talk to a few kids today, a few parents, so shout out to Miss Knight, because I talked to Miss Knight today and Sean, so they seem to be doing well, and some other students. So tonight I'm going to read the story. Tonight's story is Aunt Flossie's Hats and Crab Cakes Later. This was one of my favorite books to read to my kids when they were little. I don't know why I love this story. I think because Aunt Flossie kind of reminds me of somebody's grandmother, and I loved hanging out with my grandmother. Loved it, loved it, loved it. Okay? So, Aunt Flossie's Hats and Crab Cakes Later by Elizabeth Fitzgerald Howard, and the paintings are by James Ransom. And this book has a lot of paintings and not just illustrations. It lists a lot of painted illustrations. On Sunday afternoons, Sarah and I go to see great Aunt Flossie. Sarah and I love Aunt Flossie's house. It is crowded full of stuff and things. Books and pictures and lamps and pillows, plates and trays and old dried flowers and boxes and boxes and boxes of hats. Let me see, this lighting is a little hard on us. See if that makes it any better for us. Okay. On Sunday afternoons, when Sarah and I go to see Aunt Flossie, she says, "Come in, Susan. Come in, Sarah. Have some tea. Have some cookies. Later, we can have some crab cakes." I love crab cakes, in case you wanted to know. We sip our tea and eat our cookies, and then Aunt Flossie lets us look in her hat boxes. We pick out hats and try them on. Aunt Flossie says they are her memories. Each hat has a story. Wonder what the stories are about her hats. Maybe we'll find out. Hats, 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 hats. A stiff black one with a bright red ribbon. A soft brown one with silver buttons. Thin floppy hats that hide our eyes, green or blue or pink or purple. Some have fur and some have feathers. Look, this hat is just one smooth, soft rose. But here's one with a trillion flowers. Aunt Flossie has so many hats. On Sunday afternoon, I pick out a woolly winter hat. Sort of green, maybe. Aunt Flossie thought a minute. Aunt Flossie almost always thinks a minute before she starts her hat story. Then she sniffed the woolly hat. Just a little smoky smell now, she said. Sarah and I sniffed the hat too. Smoky smell, Aunt Flossie. Wonder what that smoky smell came from. And I wonder if Sarah and Susan smelled the smokiness as well. The big fire, said Aunt Flossie. The big fire in Baltimore. Everything smelled of smoke for miles around. For days and days. Big fire. Didn't come near our house on Center Street, but we could hear the fire engines racing down St. Paul. Horses' hooves, clattering, bells, whistles. Your great-grandma and I couldn't sleep. We grabbed our coat and hat and ran outside, worried about Uncle Jimmy's grocery store. Worried about the terrapins and the crabs. Big fire in Baltimore. So she had on her hat, her green hat. See Aunt Flossie right there? When she was young. Her green hat in Baltimore when it was a big fire. Aunt Flossie closed her eyes. I think she was seeing long ago. I wondered about crab cakes. Did they have crab cakes way back then? Then Sarah sniffed Aunt Flossie's hat. No more smoky smell, she said, but I thought I could smell some, just a little. Then Sarah tried on a different hat, dark blue with a red feather. Aunt Flossie closed her eyes and thought a minute. Oh my, yes, my, what an exciting day. We waited, Sarah and I. What happened, Aunt Flossie, I asked. I wonder what Aunt Flossie was thinking about, if she was sad or just glad to have the memories of that hat and what happened back then. Now she's got on a different hat. Here's our next story for Aunt Flossie's hat. Big parade in Baltimore. Oh, parade, said Sarah. We love parades. I made that hat, Aunt Flossie said, to wear to watch the big parade. Buglers bugling, drummers drumming, flags flying everywhere. The boys, soldiers, you know, came back from France, marching up Charles Street. Proud, everyone cheering, everyone shouting. The Great War was over. The Great War was over. Let's have a parade, I said. Sarah put on a dark blue hat. I found a red one with a furry pom-pom. We marched around Aunt Flossie's hat. March with us, Aunt Flossie, I called, but she was closing her eyes. She was seeing long ago. Maybe she's dreaming about crab cakes, said Sarah. Sometimes I do that too. I just kind of close my eyes and kind of think about some of the memories I have in my head. It's a nice thing to do. It's a nice thing to kind of calm yourselves as well. Then we looked in the very special box. Look, Aunt Flossie, here's your special hat. It was the big straw hat with the pink and yellow flowers and green velvet ribbon. Aunt Flossie's favorite best Sunday hat. It's our favorite story because we are in the story and we can help Aunt Flossie tell it. So that's the balloons they had, and that's the big straw hat with the pink and yellow flowers all around it. Aunt Flossie smiled. One Sunday afternoon, she said, we were going out for crab cakes. Sarah and Susan and Mommy and Daddy, I said. And Aunt Flossie, said Sarah. Aunt Flossie nodded. We were walking by the water when a wind came up. Let me tell it, I said. The wind came and blew away your favorite best Sunday hat. My favorite best Sunday hat, said Aunt Flossie. It landed in the water. It was funny, said Sarah. I didn't think so, said Aunt Flossie. Not her favorite best Sunday hat. She wouldn't think that was funny at all. Look at that flying in the water. And Daddy tried to reach it, I said, but he slid down in the mud. Daddy looked really surprised and everyone laughed. He couldn't rescue my favorite best Sunday hat, said Aunt Flossie. And Mama got a stick and leaned out far. She almost fell in, but she couldn't reach it either. The water rippled, and your favorite best Sunday hat just floated like a boat. Oh, Aunt Flossie's hat floated like a boat down the river or a stream or whatever the water was. Now comes the best part, and I'll tell it, said Sarah. A big brown dog came. It was walking with the boy. May I help you? Asked the boy. My dog Gretchen can get it. The boy threw a small stone. It landed in Aunt Flossie's hat. Fetch, Gretchen, fetch! Fetch, Gretchen, fetch! Gretchen jumped in the water and she swam. She swam and she got it. Gretchen got Aunt Flossie's hat. Hooray for Gretchen! We all jumped up and down. Hooray for Aunt Flossie's hat! It was very wet, said Aunt Flossie, but it dried just fine. Almost like new. My favorite, best Sunday hat. I like the story, I said. So do I, said Sarah. And I like what happened next. We went to go get crab cakes. Crab cakes, said Aunt Flossie. What a wonderful idea. Sarah, Susan, telephone your parents. We'll go grab some crab cakes right now. That would be my favorite thing to do. You see the little crab over there? I love crab cakes. And over there in Baltimore, they got some of the best crab cakes ever. Maryland's pretty much known for crab cakes. I think Sarah and I will always agree about one thing. Nothing in the whole wide world tastes better or tastes as good as a crab cake. But crab cakes taste best after stories. Stories about Aunt Flossie's hat. The end. I love this book. I love the illustrations in it because they look like paintings. I love this book. Well, you tell me if you love this book as much as I did. And these cars are flying up and down my street. I don't know what's going on today. I guess the weather's nice and everybody's trying to get out. There's a lot of cars out here today for people who should be staying inside of their houses. Anyway, you let me know what you liked about the book. If you liked the story, if you didn't. Tell me why you did or why you didn't. Tell me what your favorite story's been so far. Make a little journal entry. I would love to read some of you all's journal entries that I hope that you're keeping while we're off from this time. I hope that you got some of that packet work done. And I hope you are being kind to each other. Now it is that time of evening where we're going to just relax our minds and our bodies, and we're going to do our mindfulness. Are you ready? All right, so you know I always have a cup of hot chocolate first, some flowers that I could blow those petals, or I just breathe at the end. We're going to do 3 breaths. Now, sometimes when you get angry, you might need to do more than 3 deep breaths. You might need to do 5, maybe a few more than that. Sometimes you only need to do 1 or 2. Depends on what you're feeling like on that day, okay? All right, so here we go. Got my cup of hot chocolate. I'm going to smell it in through my nose. And blow and cool. Letting my shoulders relax. I have my flowers. Got my eyes closed. I'm smelling my flower petals. And blowing the flowers back into the world. And now I'm just going to breathe. Nice deep breath in and out. Feel your heart start to calm itself down and get a little slower. Let your shoulders relax. And just take a moment to think. Or let your mind go free, actually. Let your mind go free and be at peace. All right, my little loves. Remember, be kind to each other. Help your parents out. Help each other out. Enjoy the rest of this beautiful, beautiful day. It is so beautiful outside today. Make sure you get some exercise, some kind of movement, even if you just go outside on your porch or your sidewalk in front of your house, your backyard, your basement, wherever you can, and just run in place or jump. If you're the only kids on the street, so sometimes Chance is here, he can ride his scooter a little bit because there's really nobody else out. So he can ride a scooter a little bit and get some fresh air. Or I seen some of the kids, David Moore and Ariana Mosley, they live right behind me. They're out in their yard. And I've seen some other kids that live next door to me. They're out in their yards as well because they can social distance out there. So they're not playing with everybody, but they're playing with just their siblings and just getting some fresh air. All right? All right, my loves. Until tomorrow, I love you. I love you. I love you. Be kind to each other. Have a good night.